Well, hello there, guys. You are joining me today for the third and final part of the Ultimate Roguelike Deck Builder tier list. We will finally get to 150, or at least very close to 150 games listed in this tier list. In this part, I did remove a few games that were like really early in development, demos and such especially, while I added also new ones that I discovered lately. The new ones, they're not all going to be in alphabetical order in this part. I crammed like all of them at the end of the video. But there are some pretty good ones in there, and so you should watch the video until the end if you don't want to miss that. Also, I remind you guys that you can subscribe to the channel. I am compiling right now a special roguelike deck builder video with some insights and a more in-depth review of my favorite ones, as well as kind of a special Olympics of the roguelike deck builder genre video, where I'm gonna do like top 3 best, worst, most creative, most unique, most difficult, etc. As for right now, we are gonna head straight in the video. We have a lot to review here. It's gonna be, I'm scared, the longest part, so I'll try to be a little faster. So yeah, stay tuned. Enjoy. Starting off, we got an absolute joke of a video game, One Shot Rogue, the Chinese roguelike deck builder. I have no idea how this is being sold $17.49 right now in Canada, because it is just not a video game. For me, One Shot Rogue is a canvas, something that should have been just a tester that the devs show their bosses. 48 hours in development. I'm absolutely not a developer, but I think that actually I could make a better version of One Shot Rogue in a week with prettier drawings and using only paint on my computer. I saw on a gaming analytics website that it had sold something like 40 copies and it made like not even $1,000 in profit, which seems representative of the game's quality. I'm pretty sure though they actually made a huge return on investment on this, because the game probably cost just less than $100 to make. I don't hate it radically, I just don't think it's worth anyone's time, and it never should have been published in that state. Although I won't judge the gameplay ideas because I have not really experienced them. You have to consider when launching a game like One Shot Rogue that there are so many other games out there, and there's only so many hours in a day, and there are so many better ones out there, and maybe you just don't want to waste your life playing One Shot Rogue. And so One Shot Rogue, sadly, to start off the third part of the tier list, is going to be a D tier. Pawnbarian now is right on the edge of the genre. It is borderline not a roguelike deck builder, but it is listed in a lot of lists, and it is marked as like roguelike deck builder on Steam. It is kind of a tactical that's themed around chess, but there's very little chess actually in it. Your deck is made of cards that are like chess pieces, and they can be upgraded and made more powerful. It was almost not gonna make the cut because it's not more interesting than that. It is just an alright tactical game. I chose to include it because for some of you guys, if you like chess, it could be appealing, although you don't. You're not going to do a lot of chessing. It's kind of clever in a way. It's not my favorite of all time. It's just okay, but it's easy to play and easy to pick up, and everybody's gonna understand what you do in 5 seconds, and so Pawnbarian goes in B tier. Phantom Rose now. It's been a while that I've played this one. It's a Chinese deck building roguelike where you chain action cards and then you press play and watch them resolve. The fact that it was asking me to share on my social networks whenever I want to fight annoyed me like to the highest degree. It felt very weepish. There were like emojis involved. I'm not gonna talk for too long about this one. Apart from like the cringe weep stuff, it's fine without being especially exciting. I'm probably not playing this one ever again, and I can't let anybody I know catching me playing this game ever, so Phantom Rose goes in C tier. Pirates Outlaws was actually the first game I played after playing Slay the Spire. I remember just typing on Google games like Slay the Spire, finding a list. The game at the top of it was Pirates Outlaws, and then I just bought it, downloaded it, opened it, did a few runs, and I thought, oh, that game actually is not for me. It has a crazy amount of content. It's kind of daunting the first time you open it. It has at least 4 game modes that are all actually pretty well made, and so the game surprised me. I played it quite a bit recently. I think it has a lot of flaws, but it is one of the more polished ones. Actually, it will feel punishing at times because usually you can beat the first bunch of islands or archipelago, and then the second or third boss is always going to destroy you because you You don't have a lot of, well, you do have a lot of deck options. It's just none of them really do that much. None of the cards are really overpowered. I've played a ton of it. I think I have tried most heroes and did at least 3 or 4 whole runs with each hero. Did a bit of arena, did a bit of, I don't know, how's it called? Like the 2nd and 3rd island types. So there's so much stuff, but it's a bit grindy, a bit long, a bit too many options maybe. If you want to like sink your teeth into a very expensive, very well made, very beautifully produced roguelike deck builders, you can probably play 100 hours of Pirates Outlaws. It has a ton of content. It is great. It is probably one of the most interesting ones of the bunch. I played a lot of it. It's not my favorite, but it's honestly an A tier. I think it's lacking OP combos and things that are going to make you addicted to the game, but yet it's one of the better ones, and it could be your S tier. For me, it's an A tier. Power Chord now is a metal battle deck builder roguelike. It's one of those that has like great production value, an original soundtrack that's pretty good, a strong visual identity. You go like Scott Pilgrim style. You got guys with guitars hitting each other. It looks cool, right? I just don't really like it. I tend not to like heavy party-based roguelike deck builders, and to me, it's also important in a game like this that you start with simple cards and you work your way up by like removal and acquisition. I really dislike a game that gives you like all sorts of random cards from different set right off the bat. I don't know, Power Chord could not really interest me long enough and keep me hooked, so I didn't play a lot of it. It should probably go in not enough played, although I did feel like it was not the game for me, and so I'll put it in C tier. It's gameplay wise, like the experience I had with it was probably worth the D tier, but then it's so beautiful and it's so unique visually that yeah, let's give it a C tier. If you like this game, we are not the same, but I don't hate you. I don't think you have bad taste in gaming. Primateria now. I need to check on my Steam at the same time that I'm doing this, because I didn't take a lot of notes and I don't that was it. So Primateria is an old school Yu-Gi-Oh like roguelike deck builder. Yeah, the gameplay in this one was not super interesting. It was a pretty basic. Maybe if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan because it's inspired from classic Yu-Gi-Oh, but really not for me. So Primateria C tier, low C tier, just because I know it's not for me. It's probably not bad, it's just not for me. C tier. Now, Pyrene is an amazing one that I actually played extensively, and that was super cool, super fun, made in a very clever way. I don't have anything bad to say about Pyrene. It's just not the one I'm going to play 100 hours, but what it was trying to do, it did it perfectly. You have like a light meta progression system with a village to rebuild, and then a super clever little card system. It's too puzzly for me, but it's cool. It's perfect at what it does. It's almost a low A tier, but it's going to go high B, because it's too puzzly for me, but it's a great one. Nothing bad to say about Pyrene. You should play it. It's cheap on top of that, so yeah, just go play Pyrene. Railroads and Catacombs now is a roguelike deck builder where you're in a train with a crew, and each one of the guys in a crew got a different job, a unique class, but the twist is that you only control one at a time. You send one to venture in the wilderness. And the meta progression is based on like the things you're going to gather in that run and the experience you're going to get, and you have to level up every one of those guys. It is super heavy in meta progression. It is very roguelite-y. You could very well just call this an RPG, an adventure RPG, honestly. It's very grindy, but despite that, it's not a bad game at all. I actually played quite a bit of this. Nothing really stands out though. It's really just like a heavy meta progression RPG game. And the fighting is alright, but nothing stands out really, and so it's gonna go in B tier, because I did play more than I originally thought I would, so B tier. Ratropolis now, that might be a controversial one. I'm sorry guys, but I absolutely hate Ratropolis. It's got very positive reviews on Steam. It's just absolutely not a game for me. Again, I love Rats. I'm a big fan of the Ratatouille movie, but it's just it's a game that reminded me too much of like the old Flash games we used to play when we were kids. I feel like I was playing, what's it called, like Age of War, the game we played when we were kids. It's like an Age of War roguelike deck builder. Again, I just played like 2 hours of this, but I knew I would not ever come back to it. It couldn't hook me in. I tried like 2 different builds, I guess, and they were both very boring. I was just asking, like, what am I doing here? I was just asking myself all along. It's graphically not my vibe. I will not give it another try. I know people love it. It's just, I know it's not for me. So I thought it was tedious, boring, and repetitive, and it looked like Age of War. And so Ratropolis is going in D tier. But if you like it, I don't blame you. I think it was more of a personal grudge that I had against it. Rise of the Slime is unfortunately a game that everybody hated on Steam. I think it is, like, it has good intentions. It's just terribly executed. It's simply not fun to play. It does not click. It's not a full game. Steam reviews are right. Rise of the Slime is bad. It should go in D tier, and you should not play it. So yeah, we'll go fast on that one. We'll just move on. After the atrocious Rise of the Slime, a quick change of tone, because coming up next is Roguebook. It might shock some people here, because basically I couldn't wait for the turn of Roguebook to come, because I just got the idea of this whole tier list while playing Roguebook, because I thought it was so good. To summarize, I basically think that the game is the most worthy successor of Slay the Spire that there is out there. I'll go over real quick on what makes Roguebook the perfect video game that it is. Basically, it takes the Slay the Spire formula and completes it. The world map, for example, you know how in all of those games they have their unique take on the world map. And Roguebook, I think, has probably the best world map that there's out there. That is, its whole complete different game without being distracting from the main thing that you're doing, like killing monsters. It is a whole game of its own with little secrets, a movement point resource to manage, but tons of options, tons of things to visit, building, events, treasure chests to find. It is super cool. Although sometimes you'll find yourself like loving to play the world map even more than the fights themselves, but it's all right. It's all good fun, right? The game in itself is very generous, very giving. Usually you are gonna win most of your runs when you start, but then they have a sort of campaign going on and the challenges get harder and harder, and you are gonna lose like some pretty crazy runs at some point. You got 2 characters out of a roster of 4, so I guess there would be 6 combinations total, and all of those combinations are unique, interesting, and they play differently together. So you start after a while having your little favorite combinations, but all of them are balanced, fun to play. So it's great in all ways. I synced way too many hours in Roguebook that I'm willing to admit. Challenges and rewards are great, a skill tree is great, cards are creative and balanced. It's really a masterpiece, and it goes in S tier. It is not the one I came back to the most often just because I played so much of it. I finished it like 100%. It is a pretty good contender for, yeah, top 3 roguelike deck builders out there, so easy S tier for Roguebook. And I'm glad I finally got to talk about it. Ruff Ghanor now. I was craving to play this game for such a long time. I thought it looked so cool graphically and thematically, and the builds that were promised looked great. I finally tried it not a long time ago, early 2025, and it just sucked, and everything was so disappointing, and I was so disappointed at Ruff Ghanor. It suffered from a few problems that kept it from being a good game. First, numbers are too small. This is a problem that I see in a lot of those roguelike deck builders. You know, when you got a card that says deal 1 damage, shield 1, enrage 1. Sometimes I feel like for the devs it seems like a clever move because they tell themselves, I'm pretty sure, oh, it makes it smart, you have to think more, it's more intricate, decisions matter more, but then a lot of the time it ends up being just the opposite and doing the opposite. So the small numbers make it clunky and overly puzzly, and you tank so many of your runs because you're just so bored, and because you have to do the same 2 damage on the 48 HP guy so many times, and it just makes you want to quit, honestly, most of the time, on top of making builds less crazy and less unique and less broken a lot of the time because there's so little variance, so little leeway in the way you play your cards. It becomes very samey. At least that's what I felt playing Ruff Ghanor. There's also a story that you want to skip at all costs. There are, just like in most small budget roguelike deck builders, UI issues, like clicking issues, graphical issues on the world map. I do not advise that you play Ruff Ghanor, but since I was so excited by the theme, the aesthetics, the combos, the builds, I think I'm gonna give it a C tier, but in its current form, just know that it's disappointing and overall depressing and slow game to play. Rune Gate now is a roguelike deck builder that I played a long time ago, where the pitch is basically anime characters plus you create your own cards. There's a weird day and night system. There are like perk trees and rewards and elemental kind of trees that are used like to make actions, start fights. Not sure what I really think of it. The like UI is quite confusing. Feels like a Chinese game. I'm not sure that it actually is. It's hard to understand. The game is very overall whatever. Sometimes when you start it, you hear the pitch and you're like, oh great, I can make my own cards. You think I'm going to be able to do some crazy combos, have my own theme and identity, but then you realize you're not going to like create your own keyword and make crazy, unique, insane effects. You're just going to put a +5 damage on a card that deals 3 and it's going to be an 8 damage card or whatever. There are like so many modifiers and they all kind of feel the same. So on top of that, since it's clunky UI wise and that JPEGs like of the anime characters floating in space, they don't do anything for me, and so Rune Gate is like low C tier. Rungore now is an auto battler action roguelike deck builder kind of game. Tries to be humorous. It's full of memes. It has like some dynamic music, cool pixel art, and an RPG style meta progression. Goes for the type of like fast runs, addictive style, big stats progression, achievements. It's very arcade like, and more importantly, it has live combat that makes you think fast in a way. It's just that builds are not the most interesting, but the game is so different that I might encourage you guys to try it. I was like at a point where I was like 2 or 3 hours into the game, and it was mostly just the same like arcade fast fun thing that I was doing over and over again, and so I quickly got tired of it. There are like random events that are obviously just designed to troll you, and it tries to be funny, but then it's just it's a silly game. It's obviously well made though, and if you're interested in this style, looking at the image, I'm pretty sure you can enjoy it. You should check it out. It's not exactly my type, but yeah, Rungore is gonna go in B tier. Next up is Sigil of the Magi, which is a very random one. It's one of the most heavily tactical roguelike deck builders also that I've tried. It's not my favorite kind of game in the genre, and on top of that, as I've said many times in this list, I feel like a broken record, but I'm not into tacticals, and this one was one of the least well-made of them all. And a lot of the Steam reviews tend to agree with me. It was too slow. It was slow, but then it ended up also being lightweighted at the same time. Like there was nothing going on for this game. It could have been great. It's not finished, and so yeah, it's going in low C tier again. I put Slay of the Spire in the list. What can I say? The OG, the GOAT, the one that started it all. Come on, it had to be in my list. It's a list about this very game. I'm gonna put it in S tier just for reference. Spellsword cards, Demontide. That one, it made me laugh. The intro was probably made with like 30 minutes and $5, a budget of $5. You got an AI voice speaking over a scrolling image that is not the right resolution. It's one of the most ugly ones you'll see. You can tell it was made with some love though, but come on, it's just not finished. It's super ugly. Makes me think that the other one that we reviewed that was so super ugly, Aeronorth Reborn earlier, and it belongs in the same category. Like it's a contender for top 3 uglier ones. If it was pretty and you changed the UI, you actually put money in the game, you could have maybe a solid RPG with a Hearthstone type card battling system that's actually fun. There's another world where that could work, but in this world, Spellsword cards Demontide is not a game you want to play. There are just better ones out there, and I suggest you forget about this game and never buy it. It goes in D tier. Funny how those things go, because Spliced, the next game on the list, it's also such a crazy one. You have to look at the image and tell me that has not been made on Paint in 20 minutes in between 2 classes of like intro game development. What is this? Why was that published on Steam? Just look at the image. It creeps me out. And I like that people make video games even with no budget and alone. It's just, why did they do this? Maybe if you look at this and you think this is some modern art genius masterpiece, if the visual style speaks to you, try to play it. I force you to try to play this and tell me if you liked it. I played that for 30 minutes, got it refunded, and I thought I'm gonna ask one of you guys to play it for me. I cannot have this like open on my PC for more than 20 minutes. I was not put on God's green earth to play Spliced. But please try it for me. I am not going to put it in not enough played. I have played way too much Spliced already in my life, and I know it goes in D tier. Stratum Descent, they call this one on Steam like a micro roguelike deck builder. It's weird and interesting and different from a lot of things you've played. There's a cool grid that you walk on. A lot of things are cool. It just, I played it a long time ago and I don't remember a lot of it, and I remember it's not being the most addictive thing ever. But then I remember there's a demo and the game is basically like $5. I checked earlier. And so if that seems interesting to you, like the very small, cute, like constrained roguelike deck builder, just try this one out. I think, if I remember, it was not that bad, and so it's gonna go in like low B. Tacape now is one of those that I thought was super pretty, and it was actually surprising that there was just 20 reviews for this on Steam, because obviously, okay, it was made with a small budget, but it's cute. It has something going for it. It has like a vibe. It's just fun because it's different. You don't see your character on screen. It's like point of view roguelike deck builder, and the enemies are creative. Some of it is fun. The decks and the building you do is actually pretty basic. Also, like, there are cool like design ideas, but it's not super polished animation wise and graphically. I would not suggest you run towards Tacape just because it's very traditional in a lot of ways, but it's not as bad at, like, it deserves more reviews for sure. It deserves more plays. I'm not sure how many copies they sold of this, but it's basic, but it's not bad. And so, just as for the sake of this video, Tacape is going in B tier. Tainted Grail Conquest now. This one is Grim, a dark roguelike deck builder with full 3D environment and a third-person 3D RPG. That is pretty cool and pretty rare for the genre. So in between runs, you got your full 3D environment and character, and you go to a village for upgrades. It's very cool. It's one of the rare ones that does that, where you really walk between fights. It's a breath of fresh air, and it felt really good to play at first. But I tend to prefer more colorful games, and so aesthetically, it didn't speak to me that much. I know there's an actual RPG that they made with this, and probably they took some of the assets, and the world was already built, and so I tried like 1 hour or two of the RPG, and I thought it looked pretty good. Just for a roguelike deck builder, it's very hard, very grim. In the form of a roguelike, it's like not all of the ideas transfer. Not all of the ideas from the RPG transfer that well. It's a lot of the time just disgusting, just a bit boring to look at because it's all death and demons and blood. Some models are not super inspired. Like, I mean, some of the monsters and some of the animations for the spells, they feel like FromSoft game, but with no genius. As for the gameplay, it's very hard, it's very punishing, but it's very classic. You're gonna die a lot of the time, though. You're gonna die endlessly in this game. It was just too hard to really hook me in significantly. So if you're really patient, I think something can click in Tainted Grail because it has a lot of qualities, but for me it did not. I think I almost touched, like, from the tip of my fingers, the fun in the game, but I ended up not finding it. And so obviously production value is high, but it was not the one for me. After like dying 10 times, trying exciting builds that I thought were exciting, but then dying 10 times in a row, I just said, okay, all right, I'm done with this. And so, because it has a lot of qualities, it's going in B tier, but it's not my favorite. Very far from that. Tavern Rumble now. This one is kind of weird. I'm not even sure it's on Steam. I couldn't find it on Steam. Just preparing this video. It's one of the stranger ones I found on some lists online. It looks like a flash game in a lot of regards. It's just, I remember, I don't even know where I played Tavern Rumble, but I noted, it makes you watch ads, which is not a good sign. Nothing to say about this one. It was pretty bad, not my vibe. Could not play more than 20 minutes and just got sick of it and watching ads, and so I think it's also iOS. Maybe that's why the ads. Tavern Rumble is a solid D tier, though. Now Tendryll, it's another one of those that's in early access right now. It looks absolutely amazing. The first thing you're going to notice when you play, it's one of those that can do the tactical thing pretty well. And as not a big fan of tacticals, Tendryll kind of was able to hook me in for a while. It felt a little small as of right now because it's in early access, but I did sink a few hours into this and I thought it was very polished, very nice. Builds were nothing out of the ordinary, but there were a few twists in the gameplay with the movement and with the different characters that you control that made it just good. And so I think Tendryll could be an easy A tier when it comes out. For now, because it's unfinished, it's B tier, but keep an eye on Tendryll. Tetra Tactics now. I think said on the Steam page that it was inspired by the old 1997 Final Fantasy Tactics game that I haven't played. It's basically a deck building roguelike tactical where you play cards that get numbers on the 4 sides of them on a grid. Big numbers capture the small numbers and so on. But there are twists, right, to that solid puzzly basis: special attacks, keywords, positioning things and effects, card upgrades, etc. So it was very gimmicky. It was simple but a fun little system. I gotta say, feels more like a puzzle game than a Slay the Spire like. But then for what it's trying to do, it works. It's fun. It will very likely not give you those big chills that a real deck builder, like those addiction, like arcadey chills that you get from a Slay the Spire. You're not gonna get them with Tetra Tactics, but it's alright at what it's doing. I just noted it feels more like a board game than anything else, or an actual video game adventure. So there is some depth to it, but it's a board gamey depth to some extent. Boss fights are pretty hard for someone like me who's not into like doing all the maths and just playing instinctively. It's nothing too crazy or too interesting. So if you like those nerdy puzzle games, give it a try. It's not bad. For me, it's a low B tier, or probably C tier. Yeah, C tier for Tetra Tactics. The Abyss Within now. Oh, and I'm sorry. So when I did the alphabetical order, a lot of the games that start with D, they've been sorted out with T's instead of with A. So the Abyss Within should have been reviewed at the start, but then I put it in T by accident. There's nothing to say about the Abyss Within. You can look at the image right now. It's a game that was made with probably a budget of $50 and an afternoon. It's not bad. People who made this were obviously able to make video games, and I could probably not pull off a game like the Abyss Within with the money those guys had. Is just so cheap. Assets and JPEGs are just so cheap. It just feels astonishingly bad to play when you've played so many of them in a row. So nothing special with it, but it's a video game, and it was obviously made with a small budget. So here, there's a free demo. The game is like $2. Give it a try if you really are desperate. Although I was not at the time reviewing it, and so it's gonna go in the like very random middle of C tier. So it's funny how those things go, because we got another one following that's called the Corpsmen. Although it feels like it was made with worse intentions than the Abyss Within, it's a game that is profoundly uninspired, and just like the negative Steam reviews say, it feels copy pasted from just any game. It just seems randomly generated. I thought it looked cooler graphically at least, but there's no game, right? It's just your choices don't matter. You get done with it in half an hour. I don't see potential in the Corpsmen, so I'm not gonna play it again. It is not as bad as some of the other ones I reviewed though, so maybe it deserves a low C tier. But I would not advise you try it, so D tier, yeah, for Corpsmen. The Spirit Lift now is one of the coolest demos I played last year. I don't know if it's out yet. I haven't checked. I'm probably sure it's not. It was in a very, very early access. It was just a demo. It was a roguelike deck builder inspired by 90s horror movies. You got dungeon crawler like Legend of Grimrock style movement. You assemble a team of teenagers that got special cards and abilities. There was kind of a good vibe to it, like a good 90s movie Breakfast Club, but then in a horror roguelike deck builder setting. So I thought it was super promising. It was super great. I think Spirit Lift is a contender to be an S tier when it comes out. Right now it's just not enough, and I haven't seen enough. It deserves a lot more. One amazing thing, just one thing. You visit the areas, you open doors, just the atmosphere. You loot like old drawers and bookshelves, and then there's a weird ghost that does a jump scare. It's very unique and very charming in what it's doing. So it could land a spot in one of the highest tiers when it's full released. As of right now, it's just a demo, so I put it in the list just so you guys try it. The demo is amazing. And so as of right now, I don't feel it doesn't deserve A tier because it's so small. You can basically be done with the only boss that was in the game in the demo within like half an hour, but that half an hour was very great, very promising. And so high B tier, potential A or S tier for Spirit Lift. Three Kingdoms, The Journey. My goodness, this is another one of those that's like Chinese, and it's not racism on my part. It's just that all of those Chinese roguelike deck builders with no budget, they got the same vibe and same energy, and I keep confusing them. I'm not sure for how long I played this one. It's so forgettable. And I'm pretty sure it was not bad because I'm looking at the footage right now and I'm thinking, yeah, I did play this for a while. I just can't remember anything. It's just very random gameplay-wise and graphics-wise. People seem to enjoy it, though it has positive reviews, and so maybe it deserves a B tier, but because it was so... like it was so easy to forget, I can't put this higher than the C tier. But then if you're into like Chinese mythology and Chinese games in general, it's not a bad one. I just don't remember if I played that one the most or if I played the other 3 or 4 ones that are that have this exact same theme and exact same gameplay. And so it's all gone now. It's been a while and I played too many of those games. So yeah, C tier for Three Kingdoms. Throne of Bone is a very cool one of the first ones I played last year. I don't know why I put it in the list because it's not a roguelike deck builder. It kind of is, and so I'll leave it there. It's a Noto Battler card roguelike. It's borderline not as like a Spire-like, but it's a fun one. I spent a lot of time with it. The cards are cool. It still is cards and it still is a roguelike, so if you want to try just something a little bit different, if you've been in a big roguelike deck builder craze like me, just give Throne of Bone a try. It's super cool and it has cool builds. It's going to give you like very good feelings right from the start, like with the families and the races you can try. So just do a few runs, you're going to enjoy it. Throne of Bone is a B tier. Trapmaster now is one I had difficulties remembering, had to look in my notes, but then I remembered, oh, it's the tower defense one that's listed somehow in a lot of roguelike deck builder tier lists, but it's not actually a roguelike deck builder that much. It has the Slay the Spire like map and it has a card based deck management system, but apart from that it's more of a tower defense. It tries to do a bit of both, and you know, with those games sometimes it tries to do both and then it ends up not doing either one of them fully, and so it is not bad, it is just not a memorable game. The graphics I think are cool and they speak to me, but that's about it, and so Trapmaster goes in C tier. Next one is Ultra L MAD, or Ultra LMAD. I don't know if it stands for Let's Make a Deal or Linear Model of Asset Demand and Finance. I have no idea. I know it says good luck on your journey to become an LMAD in the Steam description, but I skip dialogues in games, so I don't know what it stands for. And I don't know what I'm trying to become in this game. Maybe it's something about the USA school system that I'm not aware of because we don't have it in Canada. Anyways, Ultra LMAD is a free roguelike deck builder on Steam that is part of the cursed roguelike deck builder genre or subgenre, which should be its own category, honestly, have its own tier list system, because the ranking of those is more subtle than you'd think at first. And the fact that this game is free on top of everything creeps me out, because I wonder, like, why was that game made in the first place if it was not for money? Who's behind that madness? Ultra LMAD happens in a school. You go to classes to level up your deck of cards. You have shady teachers making you go up to the board and answer questions. You have assignments, team projects, semesters. You gotta graduate. It is just a super weird game, especially thematically and visually. Gameplay wise, it's also a mix of things you're not used to see, like an RPG on top of like weird deck management with almost clicker elements. I have no idea how they came up with this. To me though, it is profoundly ugly, quite unsettling even to look at, but it has an identity. Right, I played about like a little over an hour of this and I just had enough. I'll not say it's bad, I will just like put Ultra LMAD in the C tier. That means I am intrigued, I have so many questions. It is still cheap and clunky to play. This could change though, and this one I might go back to someday, but for now it is C tier. Underscore now is a sci-fi roguelike deck builder that was still in early access when I played. You have basically 2 decks to manage. I haven't played much of it, but I pretty much agree with the mixed reviews on Steam. It has something good going on for it, but it lacks a lot of polish. If you get it at like 25% of the price, maybe it's worth like an evening, but for me it was not worth anything more than that. So Underscore kind of has to go in C tier. Urban Cards now is a very cool urban roguelike deck builder where you gotta get money and become the boss of the neighborhood, like kind of mob style setting. It's pretty funny. Your enemies are like entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, game devs, mob bosses. There's a fun and light vibe to it all. There are different characters, unique builds. It's all fun and it's all fine. It's pretty unique. Your cards kind of fight against the enemies, but also you put buildings on the battlefield, and so that does income. It's centered around area control. It has a slightly tactically smell to it. Again, it's one that's trying hard to be unique and succeeds in a lot of ways, but then for an old grumpy Slay the Spire like lover like me, it's just it was too different. It was too gimmicky. So it's fine. It's well made and it probably deserves a B tier, but if it goes in B, it's like a very low B just because it's too different and too gimmicky. But I'll definitely play it again. It's still installed on my Steam, so I'll play it again. Urban Cards goes in B, low B. Vault of the Void now is a roguelike deck builder with emphasis on deck management, where you can pretty much at all times decide what goes in and out of your deck, much like in a TCG, like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone style game. But it is still a very much normal roguelike deck builder that's just like Slay the Spire. It is graphically very impressive. It has a clear atmosphere and identity with the creatures, the character classes, cards. It's all void, demons, and mystery. It's very effective in that regard. There's a cool wound system that I thought I didn't like at first, where damage you take is pretty much always taken as wounds, and you have the option of healing before the damage is done to you. In the end, it was a very good mechanic that worked neatly, but honestly, whatever this game was trying to do, it always did it like masterfully with elegance and refinement. And so yeah, of course, this mechanic also worked beautifully. All the specific like mechanics are original and creative. Like in most, all the specific things this game is doing are creative and unique. Like most cards are consumables that you can sacrifice to gain mana or energy, and then there are keywords that use this mechanic. It's all super cool and super intricate. I like also that the builds are pretty much always straightforward. Each character has a distinct identity. You're not like in so many other games just doing a bit of everything, like 2 damage, 2 burn, 2 shield. Instead, like if you're the healing guy, then you're gonna do a ton of healing and you're gonna have crazy healing synergies. And this is always my favorite way to play roguelike deck builder. I think it's so much more fun like that. Overall, Vault of the Void can feel a little grindy at times, but it's one of the best ones out there. I thought about A tier for it, but then it was just because I didn't come back to it recently. But then I thought, come on, man, I synced a crazy number of hours into this game, deserves to be part of the select club of the S tier. I absolutely love this game, and so it goes in S tier. Verses of Enchantment is a poetic roguelike deck builder with extremely neat style and atmosphere and visuals. You are basically a young magician wandering through the countryside in what seems to be like 16th century European high society. So already like the theme, it's, you've never heard this, you probably think he must be lying, that's not a roguelike deck builder. Yes, it is. the cards are Renaissance paintings. It's all polished and well made and beautiful. You assemble bundles of cards and then the game writes a poem with the cards you played. And also the words in the poem and the themes you use in your poem combo together and affect your future cards that you play, like the future verses of the poem that you're gonna write. It's very clever, very different, unique. You haven't seen anything like it. If you haven't played it, I would advise that you play it right now. It's overall very well put together and thematic. I wish I had the idea for this game because it's clever, it's brilliant. There's a fun game mode where basically the game mode that's really a roguelike deck builder is called Gauntlet. It feels like it's kind of you're meant to play the story first, but then the Gauntlet mode is the very fun one. Inside of the beautiful wrapping and theme, there's a game that's not the craziest game out there, so it's not an S tier, of course. It's just a little slow, a little grindy, and it's very insisting upon its team, so it's nothing that's going to be like the best seller of all time, and you have to grind through collecting all cards. It felt a bit limited at times just because of the grinding, but it's good. And for the aesthetics alone, I think Verses of Enchantment is going to go in A tier. And I would strongly advise that everybody tries it. Void Tyrant now is a roguelike deck builder, kind of dungeon crawler, blackjack game with goofy characters. It's fairly simple and straightforward. You build your little town. It feels very much like a small game. NPCs are dogs, and as a dog lover, it couldn't go lower than B tier, but it's nothing more than that. So B tier for the dogs, otherwise maybe that's a C tier. It's a very small game. But alright, cute dogs, B tier for Void Tyrant. Wild Frost. Alright, Wild Frost. I know a lot of people despise this game because of how punishing it is. It's one of the very famous ones. I think sometimes it is punishing in a way that doesn't feel very rewarding or very nice. It can feel a bit bad at times, like your first 20 playthroughs, even after that, right? But when you get it, you'll get some runs where you feel completely busted, and like they don't come very quickly though, and some runs before feeling busted and feeling like you actually achieved a functioning build that is capable of beating the game, you feel cheated by so many like rock paper scissors situations where you build a certain way and then the boss has, like the random boss has the mechanic that counters your build and you just get smashed and you lose your run. I still think it's charming, it's beautiful, and it's very popular and famous for a reason. It has like witty and intelligent game design in it. I remember it making me feel super angry at times, so it's just not. Sometimes some of those games, they're just too tightly put together and there's not enough loose ends so that you can really, like once in a while, or if you're lucky, just get a crazy run. You gotta grind through all of it and learn step by step every correct move. I think that would help this game would be card rarities. I think if you had like rarities, sometimes you found like a legendary card that is busted by accident or just by luck, it would feel great and you would win just one run out of 10s more, but that would feel just so relieving because sometimes you just get crushed 25 times in a row. Some of the bosses are insane. I won't probably go back too often to Wild Frost, but it's definitely a good one. I thought of putting it in A tier, but I think it lands just high B. Some people are gonna love it though, and I advise that you try it. So it's high B for me because it's so frustrating, but for you it might be an A tier. Witching Stone is one that I haven't played a lot. It's very puzzly. It's like a puzzle roguelike deck builder where you match symbols to cast spells. I hate that it's an anime game, but I love that it's a good game actually. It has some UI issues. I think it's still early in development, and so I'm not gonna talk about it too much. For right now it's middle tier, but just know that it's well made and it could be something that's worth your time when it's released. And so for now, middle of B tier for Witching Stone. Yao Guai Hunter, another one of those Chinese roguelike deck builder that was when I played still in early access, where you fight Yao Guais, I think that are monsters or demons in Chinese mythology. I was surprised by how famous it was. Like, it has a lot of reviews on Steam, probably 1,200 at the time where I played. For a game that I just like learned about last week and that's not very much talked about, it's a lot. I had never seen it on any list anywhere, but it has a lot of reviews. So I played a few hours of it. It's one of those that has like a very generic Chinese theme that I don't fully endorse, but it's clean. It's cleaner than probably all of the other ones that we reviewed together. It doesn't have a lot of the UI issues that a lot of other, especially Chinese roguelike deck builders have. So probably it has an actual budget and it feels like a real game. Also, there's a lot of like neat little strategic options in a fight, like a use of skill and a lot of items to use strategically. It's well made. It's neat and effective. Some monsters and some encounters I noted are pretty cool. So like there are cool big serpents and big dragons and hydras, magic turtles, strange demons. So it's not bad. It's probably the best of the Chinese games, and so I think it's gonna crack like B tier just because I want to put like one of them in B tier. So yeah, Yao Guai is the one you have to play if you want to play a Chinese roguelike deck builder. It goes in B tier. Zero Division was a roguelike that just came out when I played it. Like the full game had just been released. It looks like it has a budget. It's very cool, like comic book style, futuristic graphics. The fighting is more like Hearthstone style. You've got a map and random encounters, and cards have like HP and attack stats. It's mostly the theme for me that made it, and the graphics, because it was beautiful. But then a lot of the game was a bit samey at times, but the builds are cool, characters are unique and super fun. It really works. And Zero Division was, I thought, if I put more time into it, would be one of the big guys. There were like very small problems, like UI that was very crowded, small text, and you get a lot of new keywords to learn when you start a new run and you haven't played in a while, so it was a little convoluted. Sometimes I also dislike having to pick 8 or 10 cards between in a choice of 50 after like a very basic monster encounter. It makes you like pause and think for way too long sometimes, and I keep forgetting the keywords and what the characters do, and so it's a lot. But then it's one of those, I thought, if I get involved into it and I really play it a lot, that could like crack the S tier, because it looks so good, and a lot of it, like when I understand the game, it feels astonishing. Also, I'll note that the meta progression is kind of cool, because you kind of make the card collection bigger and you unlock new cards and all of the builds become more complicated. So it's cool because it felt very intricate, and it felt like you could put a lot of time into it. There's like a currency system, and you win currency between your rounds. I could see myself like being addicted one day to Zero Division and think it deserves an S tier. As of right now, it's an A tier because of the potential, but it was too complicated for me to really play it so much. Zet Zillions, the game that came out in 2024, that is a space roguelike deck builder with crazy characters and card fusions and combos, and the fun twist is the population stat in this game. So basically planets can be conquered with population instead of like killing them or destroying them, and you can stun like the enemies and win by population. So it's kind of cool. It's a twist that is interesting. The combat is fun. The little quests you get in your runs are fun. It's interesting graphically as well. I'm not sure it's really for me because it's so goofy, but I encourage that you look into Zet Zillions and you give it a try, because it's very unique and it felt refreshing to play the few times I played it. So it's a reasonably good roguelike deck builder that deserves, I think, almost an A tier. It's going to be high B. Zoetti now is a game that I thought I was not going to enjoy, because it kind of was a bit anime, and it seemed a bit bland, because the cards were actually just playing cards, like, you know, like Jack, Queen, King, Hearts, Diamonds, Clubs, and Spades. But then I played it and I thought, my goodness, this game is pretty good. So there's no mana, which is interesting, that your cards are your resources. I just felt like it needed more builds and more like variance between one run and the other, but then it was just a great game. So I played maybe 5 or 10 runs of it, but it was obviously pretty good. Lacked content maybe, but had great potential, and I could see like this concept going somewhere. So it was fun to play. I advise that you play Zoetti. It's gonna go in B tier. So that was it for the alphabetical order. The next game I will review are those that either I played recently or I just forgot them by accident and didn't include them. So they're going to be random in order, but there are some pretty good ones in there. First one is Menace from the Deep. That is a very special story-driven roguelike deck builder with beautiful graphics, like an old comic strip, film noir kind of detective aesthetics. It's very good, very cool. It's quite mysterious and interesting at times. I didn't care about the story too much, just because I never do in those kinds of games. I'm in there for the gameplay most of the time. The meta progression I noted was pretty bad. Basically, you have to tank a lot of your runs just to optimize meta progression, and so that's what I did for the first few hours I was playing this. I was just getting all of the money stuff, and I was tanking my runs to just cash in the money quickly and like do bigger runs after that. So that was a weird system that I think they should work on. So yeah, you'll just find yourself spamming the storehouse, that it's called, that gives money, but then it's gonna tank your run. Graphically, it was excellent, and it's very clean in terms of animations and visuals. There's something like AAA with it, like it's so well put together and so well thought out. So small UI problems, small balance problems, but Menace from the Deep is already an A tier for me in terms of roguelike deck builder. Tuhu, Lost Branch of Legend, is a roguelike deck builder that was made with the Tuhu theme. I think that used to be, if I'm not mistaken, I think Tuhu used to be like a very popular series of like manic shooter games with tons of bullets on screen. It's just now it's a roguelike. I don't know if it's, maybe I'm just stupid and Tuhu means something in Chinese, but Yeah, so it was kind of Chinese anime theme, but it was pretty good. I did play some of it, like a few hours of it, because it was just able to hook me in with its mechanics. Very simple, very classic, but not bad at all, and has a few stylish animations and cool builds that I enjoyed playing. And so Tuhu is one of those very basic ones that's not bad. If you're into the Tuhu brand, maybe give it a try. Maybe you recognize some of the characters, or maybe I'm just 100% wrong and it's not the same as the shooter games. Although for me it's going to be a B tier, very middle tier kind of game. Rogue Hex is funny because I feel like the guys making this, they kind of made a Civ. So it's exactly like Civ. You look at the game, it's Civ, but then it's a roguelike deck builder. So you get cards, you get a deck that you manage. What's funny is I think they got kind of cool. They must have bought like cool assets for the characters. So you got 3D characters, but then everything they made themselves is super shitty. Like the cards, they couldn't buy assets for somehow. So you got super nice, super stylish 3D characters that are very reminding of a 4X game like Civ. And then you got ugly cards with randomly generated images on them. And the game in itself is fun, but it's not exactly a game like Slay the Spire. It's just a 4X in the world of a roguelike deck builder, or the other way around. Who knows? I did play some of this, but there was nothing to write home about. It deserves a B tier because it's funny and the concept has something going for it. And you might find yourself playing a lot of this. Who knows? It's still early access though, so I'm not going to give it something too definitive. I'm going to give it a B tier and see where it goes. Definitely going to keep an eye on that one. Witch in Council, the card, is a goofy little game that feels like a flash game, roguelike deck builder. It is classic in a lot of ways, but it has an interesting graphical style and identity. I know a lot of people hated it on Steam. I think it's not very well made. It's not polished, but it's not the worst ever. This one is kind of, if you read the Steam comments, you're going to think that is a D tier, but it's not. It has something going for it. I'm not going to hate on that game too much. Witch in Council, it's just feels a bit like made with bad intentions, like not polished, not finished at all. Should be more than what it is, but I think it looks alright graphically, and it's not too hard to play, except for the fact that the UI is super clunky and it's not very well balanced, or if anything, it's not worth a lot of your time, but it's not going to go in D, it's going to go in the C tier. Deathless, Tales of Old Russ is a game I think that's getting traction right now. Just came out in December 2024. It's absolutely gorgeous in terms of what it's doing. It's the type of graphics that really make you want to play the game just because it's so gorgeous. It's not especially original or unique, but it's polished. Animations are fine, but graphics are gorgeous, really, for a game like that. That's probably, I don't know, maybe, I think it's getting traction right now, so maybe it makes some money, but it's just gorgeous for a game like that. You're not used to see games so gorgeous. Usually you got 4 characters to choose from, you got a little story to follow, quests. I don't care about that stuff. I like the guy that overheats the most. From playing a lot of this, I realized at a point that the decks were a bit always the same. You actually lack deck building variety and variance and options at some point. I end up always doing the same build with every guy, and it's quite slow to modify the decks. Like the remove or transform card options are not cheap, so sometimes that makes for a slow and clunky game, which kind of happens with Deathless, Tales of Old Russ. It's intricate. They always give you like 3 options on the world map after a fight, and picking the right option at all times is pretty tricky. Basically all the options have a different bonus and different drawback, and so for example, like get no gold for the next fight but get a potion, or foes are stronger but you get to see the shopkeeper after, and so on. So it's interesting, but it's slow, slightly unsatisfying sometimes because your deck really does not thin out quickly and you get stuck with the base cards for hours, and the runs can be like 2, 3, 4 hours long. And you're gonna play for so much of that time with the card that does 2 damage, gain 2 shield, whatever. It's not my favorite way to approach a roguelike deck builder. There's like a dying foe mechanic that is weird and not super interesting. So foes, when you kill them once, they die and they become kind of like just a meat sack for a while in the fight. It's laid back, it's chill to play. It's got small numbers again, so I didn't like that much. The strategic elements are alright, it just lacks deck tinning for me. I think it's obviously well made and thought out, and I played a lot of it. I did play like probably 20 hours of this. It's just not the one I'm gonna go back to, because right now I'm out of it and I could see how it was too long for what it was. The dying foe mechanic makes fights so much longer, and everything is just slow in this game. They should make this exact game but faster. Maybe if you haven't played a lot of roguelike deck builders, you don't mind the slow fights, but then when you've played like hundreds of them, you're just like, alright, I'm going for a long ride. Because it lacked craziness and swiftness, it's going to be for some players, but it was not, especially for me. It's, although, a very good game overall because of how polished it is. So, who knows, maybe for you it can be an A tier, but for me it is going to be a mid-B. Infest now is an absolutely crazy chemistry kind of a roguelike deck builder, and although I did some chemistry in school and I like the crazy aspects of that game and the idea behind it, I didn't play too much of it just because it was kind of clunky and pixel art, and I was not in the mood for that when I played it. Maybe it deserves to go in not enough played because there might be something that I love in Infest. As of right now, it's gonna go in C because I can't remember and I didn't like dig deep enough to really love this game. I think some people say it's slightly unfinished too. So for now, yeah, let's just say low B for Infest, but I might go back to it. Fairy Tale Dungeon is one. I didn't take any notes on this. I think it was nothing to write home about. It was very hard to remember anything from this game. It was just the Fairy Tale brand on a kind of alright middle tier roguelike deck builder that felt kind of good to play. I remember you had like a cool grid to walk on, and then your movement on the grid was limited, and after like moving for a while you had to fight the boss. It's just that, what can I say about this one? For a Fairy Tale, which is a big brand game, sometimes you expect more, but you know how sometimes it's just like the Lord of the Rings brand, they slap it on just about anything. You're gonna find like the cheapest Lord of the Ring mobile gacha game sometimes, or so maybe Fairy Tale is a bit like that. It's made with some budget though, so it's alright for what it is. It goes in B tier. I think I might have played something like 10 hours of it, and I just played one character. I just remember playing the main fire guy. Who knows, maybe it's hard to unlock the others, I don't remember. So yeah, it's gonna stay in B tier forever. Toads of the Bayou now is a very cool, uniquely themed around toads roguelike deck builder. It's really special and unique, and if you look at the image right now, you can see that it has a beautiful graphical style and identity and atmosphere. You got like objectives to do a bit, and they tried to do something like Into the Breach style. It's like turn-based, but the anime, you can know very easily what the enemies are about to do and plan your turns accordingly. Although I thought, unlike Into the Breach, sometimes the AI of Toads of the Bayou is a bit random, and they won't even attack the buildings, and sometimes they're going to focus on you or on your mates, and you don't know why. So you got objectives in fights, so protect a building, save a princess toad or something, and then you're going to try to kill the enemies, but also do as many objectives as you can in the meantime. It's not as well executed as Into the Breach, but it's very similar, and it's, I think, more beautiful than Into the Breach. Sorry to say that.
And so I thought Toads of the Bayou was great, and it's gonna go in low A tier.
Seal the Rift now is a game that I see a lot of people liked on Steam during the early access, although I absolutely hated it. I thought, well, not hate it, I think it's fine, but it was like $20. It's like way too expensive. Like, why would you put $20, $25 I think even in Canada for a game that feels like a free Flash game? So don't do that. Game devs, be like aware of what you are. Seal the Rift is not aware of what it is. It is a very simple, quite uninspired copy of Slay the Spire that should not be $25 in Canada. So just for that, it's gonna go in D tier, but it's not the worst game ever. So yeah, D tier because of the absurd pricing and the lack of self-awareness. Elemental Exiles is the one I didn't take any notes on, and I remember feeling a lot of crazy feelings playing Elemental Exile. I think I was so frustrated sometimes with this game. I wanted to talk more about it though, and I don't remember what I wanted to say because it's been too long since I played, but alright, I might do another video on it later. I think this game deserves your time. It is, I think it made me very angry, but it's good. The map is good, the builds are fun, Elemental Exile, I remember, just worked as a roguelike deck builder. It was just a roguelike deck builder that really worked and made me feel a lot of things. And when the game makes you feel things, it means it's good. Yeah, only thing is I don't remember what I wanted to say about it. I think I had a lot of comments that I wanted to share with you guys on the different characters and the different enemies and which ones are busted and which bosses are unfair, and I don't remember. I know it's themed around elemental damage and stuff.
And the gameplay was kind of fast and arcadey and tough. And for all of those reasons, and because it was a game that you would think of even when you're not playing Elemental Exiles, is going to go in A tier.
Battle Bands is a game that I wanted to put on the list just because it had gotten some traction and some attention online. It's just a game I absolutely hated and didn't want to play, and I think I'm going to put it in Not Enough Played because from the moment of the game start, like the graphics, the theme, the way it's played, and the way that, like, is there a tutorial in this game? I didn't understand the game at all. I could not play Battle Bands because it felt so... And is it made by some of the devs that made Slay the Spire? Is that why I wanted to play it? I don't remember. So Battle Bands goes in Not Enough Played, but just know that I really didn't play it. I tried for a few minutes and I stopped. I couldn't. Blue Hunter is one that I played quite recently. It was just not review worthy. It was such a small game. Although I have a mad respect for some of the devs that create those games because they're kind of I'm not sure they always have like a unique idea. They want to make a game, they do it. I'm not sure Blue Hunter was meant to come out in the way that it did, but it's a game, it exists, right? Blue Hunter goes in C tier because I didn't play enough of it to really appreciate it, but it's a game. Just know that it's a roguelike deck builder that exists. Perfect Teams now is a roguelike deck builder where you assemble the perfect team of 3 characters that combo together. It is a simple and fun roguelike deck builder with a cool perk tree, a cool, intricate, and complex map. It is simple, but the pixel art is pretty. It has a good old retro game vibe to it. It is just a bit pricey. I don't know why it has to be like $26 in Canada, especially for such a small game that has like 20 reviews on Steam at the moment. So I think it deserves to be more popular. Just maybe if you're gonna try it, wait for a 75% sale, because it's not the game that's going to change your life. It's just pretty, has some neat ideas, and it's a good roguelike deck builder. So yeah, Perfect Team is going to go in B tier. Baby Goat Billy. Now, what is this game? Like, who in their right mind thought I am going to do a roguelike deck builder with a baby goat? I don't know who thought of that. I was quite charmed by the 3D characters and environments. If you know me, you know that I think those are refreshing sometimes, and so it's kind of a cool RPG, Baby Goat Billy. It kind of works as an RPG, at least. As a deck builder, with the very basic skill tree it has and the very basic stuff it's doing, it's not the most interesting. I'm not gonna say like it was revolutionary in any way, but it's an RPG that works, and it's 3D, and it's cool. And there's a roguelike deck builder inside of that, so let's just say Baby Goat Billy goes in B tier. I feel ashamed of putting that game there just because it has Baby Goat in the title, but yeah, I guess it was not that bad. Maybe give it a try. I know it was discounted at like $5. It's definitely worth $5. It's not a bad game. Dark Ill. Why did I play Dark Ill? You're gonna ask. It's a game with 10 reviews on Steam, and all 10 of them are negative, as for the English reviews at least. Why did I play this? Well, it was very cheap. Bought it, played it 15 minutes, so that UI was clunky, game was super slow, uninspired. It's everything you hate about those very cheap, homemade kind of roguelike deck builders. I don't think it's the ugliest graphically, but yeah, there's something profoundly stupid about games like that, especially when you played 150 roguelike deck builders before. You just play Dark Ill and you ask yourself, what am I doing? Is this my life? Don't play Dark Ill. Even for $1, it's not worth it. So yeah, don't try it. I don't think the guys that made this were especially evil though. So it's gonna go in low C tier because it's not the worst ever, but it's just poor and random. I played super recently a game on Steam called Risk and Riches, and it's still like installed and I have to like review it thoroughly, but like from what I've seen, it looks super cool, super fresh. It has a very board gamey vibe to it. You build a little village and then you go down in the mine and fight monsters and bad guys, and everything's super tight. The money is tight. It's kind of ugly visually, but the gameplay is very good, and so I encourage you to try Risk and Riches. Didn't play a lot of it. I'm still in it right now. But yeah, Risk and Riches is a solid B. The next game coming up, BlueCloud Summit, is probably going to be the last entry on this wild and super long tier list. It was a wild endeavor. BlueCloud Summit is just the perfect game to finish this tier list because it is not an especially well-made game. It just came out. I just played it super recently and it was not anything crazy, but it was 3D. It had 3D Chinese dragons and golems and magic, lightning, sorcerer creatures and weird birds. And it was 3D. And sometimes it's all a man can ask, right? Just to be entertained, to just ride the roller coaster and be entertained and see pretty graphics and pretty colors. And BlueCloud Summit is not an especially original or polished game. It's just pure entertainment and fun. And it's a bit wild and it's a bit crazy, and the graphics are cool and colorful, and I think you should play it. And it's a good game to finish off this tier list, honestly, because it's very different. You can look at the graphics right now. I think it's cool. So I cannot in my right mind put BlueCloud Summit in A tier. It's gonna go in B, but just know that I had a blast playing it. And sometimes it's all you need from a roguelike deck builder is just something you're gonna forget in a few months, but that for a little while you can get nerdy with it and just have a blast. And that's why BlueCloud Summit goes in B tier. So this is pretty much gonna be it. I think I did the countdown and I think we're like just slightly under 150. I did deliver a bit less than I promised, but I did do some like cleaning in the meantime and deleted some games that I absolutely didn't want to talk about or didn't play or were too different from a Slay the Spire like. I just want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching those videos. I know I can like stumble over my words sometimes and I'm not used to doing videos, and I'm gonna get better with time, right? I have already tons of videos that are planned, and so my speaking I'm pretty sure is going to get better because I'm just getting used to it, and like the technical stuff is going to get better because I'm going to invest in some better equipment and stuff. So of course you can always subscribe for more. I have a very short video that's coming up that's kind of a wrap up of the roguelike deck builder tier list, just a summary of my favorites, like the best and worst ones that we've seen. And I just thank you guys again for following me and for watching those super long videos. I actually had a blast making them. I just think I will play some other games for a while because I've played way too many roguelike deck builders just lately. And so, thank you again so much, guys. And I'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned.